Good morning. Happy
Good
Tuesday.
morning.
Conscious conversations.
I love it.
I know we say this a lot, like this, like, "Oh, I'm so excited about this topic." Well, obviously, because we come up with it, but
I
I
genuinely am each
yeah,
time.
for real. And today, what I love about this wasn't planned, but last week I recorded a future self meditation and visualization, and it's one that I did on in our retreat in Costa Rica. And I had some clients that are like just going through some times where they're not trusting themselves and and so I recorded this meditation that's like really helpful for us to envision a future version of us, to get insight from that version, and it perfectly lines up with today's call. I'm really excited to be able to share that meditation with everybody. So um, it's going to be fun today. Tell me,
Mhm.
Nikki, when do you have a recollection of the first time, or like, was there a teaching that helped you understand this important of like this future self embodiment?
Yes, and I'm trying to remember the book that this came from, but it was back in our younger years. Amy, you were around at this time in Rainmakers, and it was this, I think is it Jack Canfield? That's what I'm remembering. This act as if.
Mm,
And we had you remember at Rainmakers events, we would practice these different techniques, and it was like a group topic. Like if you act as if, what is it that you're wanting? And you just go ahead and you are it. And I remember practicing this with a group of professionals, and it
mm,
was so foreign to me. And I remember that being the first time. And the difference between back then and now is it was almost this like fake it till you make it
yeah.
versus a like it is an alignment thing. Like I have to truly feel it, I have to believe
Mm,
it
mhm.
versus fake it till I make it. But that was probably at 25 when I remember that exercise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you just reminded me of a book that we all were reading back in that day called Millionaire Mind. Dear that
Okay, that might, yeah, I love that book, and that might have been where it came from then.
Yeah, there was, and I remember listening. This was the first. This, I mean, I was not prior to getting into Rainmakers and or just being surrounded by other professionals. I really was not a learner. Like I hated school. I didn't want to sit around and read books, and it really got me into this idea of like, wow, who I'm able to become or what I'm able to know is based on how much time I'm willing to learn and to grow. And so that book,
Mhm.
Millionaire Mind, I remember like listening to the audiobook, like, I have a millionaire mind. But there are so many, some of my other favorite books on this topic. There is a book called Be Your Future Self Now from Benjamin Hardy. I had a chance to hear him speak at a conference, and he shared this book with everybody. And that's a great one. Joe Dispenza, so much of Joe Dispenza's work, whether it's breaking the habit of being yourself, whether it's becoming supernatural, is really about this full embodiment of see it, feel it, believe it. So, can we let's just start by digging into why is this important? This future self embodiment, you know, why is it important to you? And I'd love to also know, like, do you have any practices where you're utilizing this?
Um, I feel like at this stage of my life, I'm listening to something almost every day that is within this realm. Rewind 3 years ago, and I was still in the fake it till you make it section
Mhm,
of
mhm.
life. So yes, it's very, very, very relevant to me. Um, I have learned, I come from the lens of I am a very spiritual, believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe that there's so much. This is my newer revelation. There's so much in this universe that God brought to us as a gift to learn how to use the universe, like our energy, our beliefs, our mind. And that would be like in the realm of, I think, where we're going to go today is neuroscience.
Yeah.
God created that. Like whoever is listening, whoever your God or your higher power, whatever, like it was created for us to learn how to leverage what is out there in the universe, like neuroscience aligning our mind is so powerful, and we were given that as a gift. And to learn the behind the scenes of what happens when, Amy, you say all the time, um, the eyes see what the mind believes. And I've adopted that. And it's in this realm that we have to believe, right? And it's in our mind, and we start to attract, and it is part of what God gave us as the
Mm,
opportunity to learn. So it's not separate. It's not like, oh, those two things, like religion or whatever, and then this neuroscience, that's separate. No, it was all created by the same, you know?
mm, mm. I think it is helpful for us to, yeah, just dig into like, are there any belief systems that might keep me from stepping into this? But on the neuroscience side, I mean, here's the thing about this. This is a phrase I constantly repeat to myself. Don't wait to get to where you're going to be who you want to be. Don't wait till you get there to like
Hmm.
suddenly think that once I arrive at this place, like I'll have all of these great habits and I'll see my life this way. And it's like, no, it requires you to do that now in order for you to prime your brain for the believability and the expectation that that is going to happen. So the science behind this embodying future self, and then we'll get into what the heck does that look like and what is the practice. um, the neuroscience, the brain doesn't know the difference between a made up event and a real event. When
Hmm.
this has been studied, doctors have been able to put, it's similar to like an EKG, right? Where it's measuring the electromagnetic output of the mind. When they are looking at the parts of the brain that are highlighted when an event is actually happening versus when it's being imagined in the mind that it's happening, it highlights the exact same neurons. So the
Hmm.
brain doesn't know the difference. And so being able to not only envision a future self, but begin to embody the same belief systems, the same actions, the same feelings that would happen, we are hardwiring our mind and our nervous system to believe that it's true. So the mind is just, there's all these patterns. We can start to rewire the patterns through this practice. The nervous system, right, is something else. We've got to train our body not to see this new and different thing as foreign, because when the body senses new, that relates to discomfort. Discomfort relates to threat. And then the nervous system will begin to put us into a fight or flight response. So, by practicing the embodiment of the feelings as well, we help train our nervous system to be prepared for this future reality that we want to step into.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so some of my, practices, I remember this has been a while ago. There's a book out there. I'm going to see if I can remember the name. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those 3 a.m. things. Ooh, what was the name of this book? I'll think of it. And I'll put it in in our community chat too if it doesn't come to me during this time. But the basis of this book was, hey, most of your goals you're wanting to achieve, it's not the outcome of the thing that you're really striving for. It's the emotion that that thing is going to activate within you that you're really that's what you really want. And
Hmm.
so one of this, she didn't state it in this way, but essentially a future self-embodiment practice would be to come up with your 5 core desired emotions. So I'm going to ask our listeners right now, those who have joined us, what is an emotion that you would love to experience every single day? What's an emotion you would love to experience every single day? And put that in the chat. We'll kind of talk through that. But I remember doing this exercise. I think it was called the desire map. The desire
Hmm.
map.
Hmm.
And so if you come up with your core desired emotions, I remember one of mine or experiences. Like, I love the feeling of adventure. I love the feeling of like, this is an adventure. So I remember when I read this book and that came up for me, adventure, I was like, then the question was, how in my day, in the mundane of today, where I'm going to get up and get the kids ready for school and then drive an hour to the office, like, how could I embody adventure? What would that look like? And I remember the small ways I would be like, I'm going to take a different way to work. I'm gonna stop
Hmm.
at a different coffee shop, like, just
Hmm.
trying to find ways to incorporate what I was hoping some future event, like a vacation, would provide for me, allowing it to become part of my everyday life.
I love that.
What would be one
Mm,
of yours, by the way?
so
Curious.
good.
What's one of your core desired purposes?
Um, one that comes top of mind right now is optimistic. Um, I live with my husband, who is the most optimistic person that I have ever met. And sometimes, like, I've always thought I'm optimistic, but then his level of optimistic, like, trumps mine like 10 times.
Mm,
And I watch how that optimism, no matter what, like, he seriously is optimistic. I don't care what we're going through, what is happening. He sees the opportunity, the good, and it every time plays out that way because even if it's crummy, he looks for that good and we focus on that and it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And it's
mm,
just really made me like, I just want to be more of that. Feel like I always have been, but he's encouraged me to be more of that because what if we lived on the other side? Like if I was like, nah, I'm not going to be optimistic. Like, why? Like,
mm,
where is that getting me? Right. So why live on that other side? I think optimistic. The other is courageous. I
mm,
really just why not? Like what's the worst? Like I'm gonna fail at something and learn and then do it differently. I'm not gonna fail
mhm,
again.
mhm.
So courageous. Those two come to mind.
I like that. I like that. I think that, embodiment of that daily, it can happen in small ways. The realization that that book in particular gave me is just don't wait. Like, there's no need to
Mhm,
wait for whatever the big thing is, and that's the purpose of this future self embodiment. We often believe once I get to this place, everything's gonna change.
mm,
And the thing is, we take the same version of us there. We think,
mhm,
I need a new job, my whole life will be different. I need a new relationship. I need a new house. I need to move to a whole other state. And the thing is, wherever we go, there we are. And so, back to that, don't wait to get to where you're going to be who you want to be. Like, whatever you think that future place is going to provide for you, capture that. Capture
mhm,
that and then begin to, act as if I were that person right now. Let's say that your goal is, maybe it's money motivated, and you have this vision of being a multimillionaire for whatever reasons. Maybe it's generational wealth you want to create for your family. Maybe it is, doing good in your community. Maybe it's just to get rid of the fear, of money or lack of stability. The challenge would then become, okay, that's your reality. Now what? When you spend that
mhm,
money, how do you think about it? Would you stress the same when this came in? What would you tell yourself? Like, really beginning to step into that. What is a
mhm.
Nikki, what's a goal that you have, like a big goal that may provide the opportunity for you to begin doing some future self alignment each day?
Well, I just engaged with a coach that now you are coaching with.
Aha.
Uh, for her name is Roya, and really excited to share her with more people as we're going to be like doing some podcasting and things together. And I'm sure you're doing things with her, but um, I'm a big believer, and we've talked about it on here in the life wheel. Or that's a tool where you look at like, you have a circle drawn on a piece of paper, cut it into pie pieces, call it 8 pieces, and those pieces are your core components of your life at this time. So
Mhm.
next year could be a little bit different. Like today, here are my core components. The one of my areas is financials that I feel like I have to figure out a way to break through to the next level. And my belief is that the more abundant I am in this life, the more financial abundance I have, the more that I can share with other people. It is one of my greatest feelings is to give, is to share, is to
Mhm.
treat people. I love there's nothing really that makes me feel better than that. And I want to do more of that, whether that is philanthropic and donating and feeling like that feeling of what I got to give, or helping a team member, or treating a friend. I know that I'm not like a hoarder of finances. I'm a big I share, I contribute is
Mm,
my why.
mm.
And I want to figure out how to break through to go to this next level, because I know that is going to provide a lot of good for other people. And I get more of that feeling, my best self. So I was like, okay, this next phase of where I need to go, I need a coach that can help me in the area that I need to break through. So she is a financial blueprint rewirer, if you will, and ready to go on that journey. We've just started this coaching. So I am wealthy. I am abundant. I share freely and do it regularly. Like that is my future self of what I'm working on.
And it's so important that you have the clarity of what that looks like and then what it feels like, because truly, like, again, I know I'm going to overstate this on our call today, but like what we really want is not just the outcome. It is the feeling of what we believe is true. It's the embodiment of that. It is the
Mhm.
breath of like, like that, that's what we're often chasing in our goals. And so breaking this down now, I think we've talked about the importance. We've given some really good books of where, of places that you can go and learn more. And we'll share those also in our conscious conversations as well. But I think step number one is to look at the identity. I think I remember hearing something of this nature from Benjamin Hardy when he was talking about this book, Be Your Future Self Now, which is like you don't rise to the level of your goals, you rise to the level of your thinking or your identity. So, if we're doing this future self embodiment of this place of who we want to be, what we want to experience, what we want our life to look like, it's important that we sit down, grab pen and paper, and we ask ourselves these following questions. Okay, what does that version of me, if they had it all, they were experiencing that, what do they believe? What are their core hardwired beliefs? And then we move into how would they feel? What is the sensations? What's the experience? So back to that, like the desire map. That is definitely the name of the book, the desire map. What are those 3 to 5 core desired feelings or emotions? Like, what would that look like? And then what do they do when they get up in the morning? Like, what's the first thought in their head? How do they spend the first hour of their day? What's on their calendar? And it's very easy when we get to this. I think it can be easier when we get to this future place and we're really clear about the things that become clutter.
Mm,
Whether it's belief systems that are clutter, whether it's feelings that are, training our mind and body to see things differently, or whether it's clutter on our calendar. you know, one of the goals that I've had on my vision board for a long time is to be an author. And let me tell you what my author behavior is. Nothing. Do you think I'm getting up and writing every morning? I avoid it like the plague. It will come to me sometimes after meditation, but this is a part of like my own knowing within myself is like if I want to get there, I got to start acting as if that is my life.
mm,
Instead of just wishing it in some future place that's never going to meet me if I don't choose to meet it in this present moment.
mhm, mm. Amy, I learned many years ago, probably in that realm of when we were talking about rainmakers, and it's become a habit for me. And I think it's so powerful that our words, what we say to ourselves, what we say out loud is so important here. And when you say, I will, or someday, or we're gonna be,
Mm,
all of that needs to go away. Throw it away.
mm,
And I correct people, particularly people close to me that like get this. Like David and I, will correct each other. I feel like I really have it wired where we are like we're already like it's already the journey,
mm.
and rewiring, it's not future state, it's now, but how we just our self-talk or how we talk in the present. Like
Yeah.
that is a really good habit shift. One other thing that I wanted to go back to in a simpler form of this for, some people that might be listening that this is newer. So I said earlier, I am courageous. That would be an emotion that I want to live out every day. So I am courageous. That doesn't mean I have all the answers. It doesn't mean I jump on a meeting and I'm like, all right, got it all figured out. And, you know, it is, I am bringing everything that I have to this and giving it my very best. And I also might say 3 times on the meeting, I'm not sure, but I'll figure that out. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to go talk to somebody and figure it out and I'll get back to you. It doesn't mean living in
Mhm.
the present state of having all of the answers as courageous. It means showing up like as your confident best self, giving it your best. And you can also say, I don't know right now, but I'm going to go figure it out. I don't have to have it right now to be courageous.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
thought that that's a good example.
I think that's really good, and it doesn't mean that I think the thing when we're really doing this and we know that it's working, first of all, it can be so subtle, and we're often waiting for just, like, this major big thing to happen that changes it all, but when we're doing this right, it's such subtle shifts that suddenly we're living that life, and it was such a slow progression that we may not even notice it because we're waiting for the big magic wand to just drop the, to like drop this magical life in our laps. And I think that happens very rarely. And for many of us, we've done this in our lives at some time, whether it was consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously. You likely are living a version of your life that you once dreamed of. Whether that is you have flexibility that you used to pray for and another job, and now you have that, and then it's so easy to take that for granted just because it just becomes our normal. And so I think also just being present with it, and noticing it and recognizing also that it's the small wins daily that create your life. That it's not about always having our mind on some future place, but it's being clear about what that future place looks like and then allowing us to win the day. And Nikki, I know that's a saying that you've shared that with me. It's been really impactful in moments in my life where I feel overwhelmed by the mission or the vision. You're like, it's
Mhm,
just win today, just win today.
mhm,
And
mhm,
really, that's what matters. Our life unfolds in this present moment. And if we can create more joy, more adventure, more optimism, whatever those desired emotions are in the day, then we're living a really damn good life on the slow and steady step to get to where we want to go.
mm.
Um,
That's good. Amy, you said something that I think needs a little bit more elaboration. You said subconscious,
mm,
and I think understanding our subconscious a little bit better. I was listening to there's a lady we both follow on TikTok, and she was saying, don't forget that I think she said 95% of what we're consuming, or I don't know the word, is 95% is subconscious. It was a very big percentage,
yeah, yeah,
and really explaining that and how to be proactive in that, I think that's
yeah.
worth talking about for a minute.
This is why this work is so important because, yeah, 95% of our life, our subconscious and unconscious mind are running the show. The things that we're not aware of, it's kind of like it's hidden behind um, what we experience in the world. And so when we say the eye see what the brain believes, that's a reflection of that 95% of these experiences that we've had, these thoughts that we've thought over and over again so much that they've become a hardwired belief, and then these beliefs that then trigger emotions, and these emotions that then motivate actions. This is literally what our entire life becomes. And so if we really want lasting change to happen, if we want to have radically new experiences in life, we have to understand that this is the game of our life. And then we also have to understand how to rewire the game that we've built. So that's why conscious habit is a thing, right? 5% is our conscious mind, and the more we can practice noticing and taking new and different action and inviting in new and different feelings, we are rewiring that 95% that doesn't work for us. And there's plenty of that 95% that works really well for you. But if you find yourself hitting a wall, repeating the same patterns in maybe it's financial patterns, maybe it's relationship patterns, maybe it's business patterns, maybe it's you get ahead and then you don't realize it, but somehow you self sabotage and you bring yourself back to where you were before. And it's very easy to blame those things on external experiences or circumstances. But the truth is, we invited them in so that we could prove to ourselves that these beliefs are true. And it happens over and over again in our life. And we just often bypass it by blaming someone new. Oh my gosh, they were a terrible boss. This was a bad hire. They were a horrible relationship. Well, we we invited that in, and I'm not victim blaming. This is not, but there's a lesson yet to be learned within that. And
Mhm.
so one of the places that I think is the most beautiful way for us to better understand that 95% is to watch your judgments. If you
Mhm.
see someone who's really successful, let's say you see someone who's experiencing the life that you desire. They've got the money, they're living the dream. What judgments creep up in you for them? Maybe it's the judgment of like, "Oh, they're not even very good. They don't deserve that. Oh, that was handed to them." Ooh, that judgment gives you a very good reflection, a very good mirror into what you may believe is true about yourself. And
Mhm.
when we uncover that, we can begin to then, I mean, with compassion, like, gosh, this belief was built to protect me, but I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to see this differently. And we can begin some of this future self embodiment through new beliefs, new feelings, new actions. And there's three major ways that we can practice this. So one is in journaling, which I think became very popular if you've ever watched The Secret or read The Secret, to do this future self, you know, um, this as if journaling. And like, I'm so grateful for this life, da, 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 and really being able to see the picture and experience it. So journaling is a very common one. The visualization. So this is practicing NLP, neuro linguistic programming. Can you see yourself experiencing what it is that you desire to experience, and also can you bring the feelings in of what would happen then? That's what Joe Dispenza teaches, is this combination of mind and body alignment, so that you can get to where you want to go. And that's the meditation that we'll share. It's basically an NLP. It's a guided visualization. And then the third way, which I think is the most powerful way, is to fully walk through your life in this, to really, to as if you were stepping into this future self, and now you think like them, you act like them, you talk like them, and really practicing it as often as you can throughout your day. And when you find yourself slipping back into that 95%, have compassion. It takes time to make change really take hold. But once you notice it, step back in. Okay, I'm this person. Do I see it this way? Does this anger me the same? Do I, really beginning to fully embody the thoughts, feelings, and actions of that human.
Mm. That's so good. And I think, for anyone that's newer on this journey, we have to realize that our patterns in our subconscious come from very deep rooted things many times, like childhood experiences or a challenging, horrible relationship or emotional events that we've had over time. Like it is deep stuff. And to be able to get on the other side of that is not like a month's worth of journaling. Like it is
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
a it is a journey. So as an example, I was sharing I hired this new coach, Roya, really excited to work with her on the financial stuff. And we're definitely I don't know this, she didn't give me a handout or prep, but I do know in my soul she's going to go back to the roots of things like what was it that you learned in church about money or something like, like money is the root of all evil. Is it really still there or something? And like, how do I break through some of those patterns that are not true that I say I don't have or want, but they're really still there? Because that's what's when I said I need to break through the ceiling, it's a lot of this programming that I have to attack. Like I have to find it to be able to work through that. So I'm sure that's going to be a lot of that. I'm excited to share with you on the journey, but
Yeah.
I'll be
Oh, yeah.
going deep.
It will be good. And this is the practice of our life. I mean, this is it. It's either life happens, I'm using quotes like by accident, which is really just means we're not taking control of the things we have the opportunity to control. And so life unfolds in a way that we don't love, but we're always in control of it. So once we know and recognize how it's unfolding, this can become the practice of our life.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful to know some of these things, and I am definitely not perfect at them. Oh my gosh, do I fall off? And I have to be reminded of them as well. But it is, it's good that we have these tools and that we have the ability to step back into them at any given time. So I encourage you all to pop over to the conscious conversations, like our space that we have. We will post the meditation that you can go through, and it's also such a good way of like, hope everybody walks away with knowing you have all the answers within you. We've just got to give ourselves the space and the quiet time to hear them. And you have the ability to be that person right now. I mean, you have everything within you to do it. It's just a practice to rewire what no longer serves us.
Mm, that's so good. I just have to add one thing there for, everybody comes from a different lens with this. And when Amy says you have all of the answers within you, some of us take the belief that like God lives within us, like is within us, whatever version of that, if that applies to you, that's one version of what she's saying. If this is the way you believe, the answers are there. Like you
Right.
have a guide. You have it is there, and spending the time with yourself. Yeah, it's amazing to see just how the answers come very loudly, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
You bet.
It's awesome.
Okay.
I love these
Yes,
conversations.
me too. Me too. All right. Have a good
All
one.
right.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.